They executed, and we didn't. We didn't tackle well enough. We didn't read our keys well enough. We didn't fill holes well enough. And, we made a couple of mistakes on offense putting the ball on the ground, which that's a recipe to get yourself beat. And we did. But I give them credit. They executed, we didn't. And it was a great film to learn from. And so that's what we've been doing this morning, watching the film with the players, and we're turning the page as we speak. We literally just turned the page to Ball State, and we'll have a walkthrough and start inserting all our Ball State stuff tonight. So it's exciting to be in a MAC West championship game on the last weekend of the year. I know a lot of teams wish they had a chance to be in it at this point, and we do. So we appreciate the opportunity, and we're ready to get to work tomorrow to get it started.
Coach, to give up 53 points at this stage of the season, less than ideal, I'm sure. I know you say you want to turn the page to Ball State, but what concerns did you have of that defensive performance, and what things did you want to see corrected moving forward?
Yeah, it's really little things. I mean, we're not doing anything different than we were last year. We're just not playing our defense as well. I mean, we're getting a little bit more push with as thin as we are up front. The O-lines are getting a little bit more push than they have in the past, which is making our linebackers, making their job harder, which is exactly what we try to do to every team we play with our offensive line. But we got to trigger better. We got to be more disciplined. Our eye discipline was a little bit weak. I thought we were out there trying to make some plays instead of just running the defense the way it's meant to be run. And, it's good. It's a good thing to learn from. We do want to turn the page, but the most important thing about when you lose is learning from it. Losing is learning. We don't lose much, but when we do, we learn from it. We watch it with honest eyes, and the coaches are blunt about every little thing we did wrong, and it's an opportunity to get better, And so we will come out. We've had good meetings with the coaches and good meetings with the players this morning, and we'll see tomorrow when we go out to the practice field to see if we're communicating better and if our fits are better and faster, and really eye discipline will be a big part of it. So, and then we can't turn the ball over. Bottom line, we got to hold on to the ball. We've done such a great job of that all year. And, man, it makes a big swing in the game. I think they scored 13 points off the turnovers. And that's 3 possessions that we would have had that I'm assuming we would have scored a couple times there. It's a 27-point swing. So we got to do a better job holding on to the ball and playing complementary football.
Coach, one thing I've learned from is watching Drew Plitt, that when he's got time in the pocket, he's deadly. So what's the plan for getting more pressure on the quarterback this week? And I know you're not on that side of the ball, but
yeah, I mean they're game planning right now. I think that's a big part of it. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in our league. Obviously, I mean I love quarterbacks. I love watching him play. He's probably my favorite. He gets rid of the ball. He's got great feet. And we watched him a ton. When we watch defenses, we watch Ball State play every team as we get ready to play other teams. So seen him play this year. He's doing a good job again. And he's a tough out. I mean, he always is, and so we played, I think, 2 games with him as the quarterback, and one went to overtime. The other one went down to the last minute. And he's just so efficient. He can make all the throws. But we got to get to him. We got to get healthy. Hopefully we get Marshawn back. Hopefully Ali and Andre Carter, and KG can get healthier so that we have a better pass rush. I got 2 defensive ends with one leg, one on one side, one on the other. But KG's playing really well. I think he's playing hard. He can't play the whole game. And if Marshawn comes back, we'll have a better chance of getting more pressure, because I thought Hutchinson had too much time in the pocket too. So we got to do it. It's one of the things, we are, I think we're number 1 in the league in sacks. We're getting to him, but we have to get him to more consistently. And that's something that if we have to bring, normally we can do that with 4. If we have to do it with 5, we will. And that's going to be key. They max pro more than any team in the league now. I mean, they're going to keep a tight end and a back end. So if you're rushing 4, you get squirrely and want to rush 5 or 6. Well, they keep 7 in the block most times because they know the same thing you know, Alan, that if you give that guy time, he can normally do something with it. So we got to be ready for their max pro stuff, and we got to cover down the field when they do that.
Coach, looking at the two teams today, you're kind of like mirror images of each other. I mean, their offensive numbers are virtually identical to your offensive numbers, and the same way on the defense. So it's like playing yourself somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're powerful on offense, and their quarterback's playing at a high level, and they got some really skilled receivers that are impressive. They have been for a couple of years. They're all back again. I think he's got 26 seniors on this team, which is a huge number. So we know we're playing a veteran group, and I think they got a veteran secondary, and they're big and physical up front. They're very multiple on defense. They got a new D coordinator. He does a lot of good things and keeps you on your toes. You know, they're not going to line up one way and say we're going to stop you. They're going to keep changing the looks and changing the fronts and changing their personnel and 2, 3, 4, even sometimes 4 different personnel groupings on defense. So they do a good job. I think they've done a much better job on defense this year, and so it's going to be a big challenge for our offense.
Coach, even if you guys had beaten Eastern Michigan, the stakes of this game would be the same in terms of the winner of this goes to the MAC championship game. But coming off a loss, is there any concern about getting as excited for this game as you would if you were undefeated?
Actually, I believe the opposite. I mean, after a loss, they get dialed in. You know, I don't want them to read about how they're 5-0, you know, but before the most important game of the year, you know. So, you know, this could be a blessing in disguise. I've coached a lot of teams that a early loss or a mid-season loss is probably the best thing that ever happened to them because it got them locked in. And so and obviously I'm hoping the same this time, you know, that we had a wake-up call. We didn't get the job done. You have to swallow that humility pill, and it makes everyone reevaluate. Hopefully the players reevaluate, you know, could I have practiced harder? Could I have, you know, it gets them back to really focusing if they weren't focusing, gets them back to really looking at all the little details that we didn't get done last week and gives us a chance, you know, in this week to get back at it. You know, we were looking at the score. Ball State got way up. We do have so many banged up guys. We were trying to figure out if we wanted to sit some guys just to get them healthy, you know, knowing the next week's we could have won by 50 or lost by 50. It wouldn't have mattered. And, you know, the problem was their last year's game went the same way. Ball State took a huge lead, and then Central came back and won at the last minute. So, but we were keeping our eye on it because we knew that if Ball State won up there at Central, that last Saturday's game meant nothing. But, you know, it's for us, it gave us a chance. It's going to give us a chance to learn and get better, and that's what we're going to do.
Coach, the defense allowed over 200 yards to an Eastern Michigan team that wasn't running the ball well coming in. Now you face a Ball State team that averages nearly 200 yards a game on the ground. How do you slow them down?
We read our keys. We fill our gaps hard and fast. You know, we got to come down and meet people at the line of scrimmage. And, you know, with Hutchinson and the running quarterback, I mean, we did not play as physical of a defense as we needed to play, as we normally play. Our linebackers are more lateral than downhill, which is uncharacteristic of them. And we got to get them back down, leaning forward, you know. And, you know, Corbin Moment is banged up, and he played the whole game, and he wasn't quite himself, and didn't get hurt again. He's feeling better. You know, he's got, you know, some ankle sprains, both. And so he's feeling better. He's moving better. He's excited about this week to get back downhill. He's, you know, a 260-pound linebacker. That's like having another D lineman in there, you know. So we're going to have to stop the run. It's something we've been able to do very well. I mean, it's something that we kind of pride ourselves on is we normally do a good job of stopping the run, and we have to get back to that. It's not like it's something we haven't done before because we've been really good at that, and we got to get back to it and figure out what didn't we do last week that we did the couple weeks before. I think it was it was NIU or Central that had like 48 rushes for 112 yards. You know, they tried to run it, and we were able to stop them. And we've done a good job over the years with that. So we got to just get back to what we've always done and not let one game somehow change what we've been doing.
Coach, these last couple of years, you guys have been in similar positions in terms of, you know, being in it in the MAC West and then ultimately falling short at the end. I was just wondering how much you think about that, and if that element adds any more pressure, to you personally to win this type of game.
I don't think so. No, I mean, it's very similar to last year, but it was different because we weren't playing the team that it was us or them. You know what I mean? The goal is to get into this situation. Like you have to, at Division I college football, there are no easy games, although everyone wants them to be easy. Every game's going to be tight. Everyone's playing with Division I football players, and you couple turnovers, and no matter what game you're in, it's a close one, and the goal is to play well enough over a month or two so that you can get that opportunity to be there. And you have to be there again and again. I remember like my high school back in Chicago, I think it was 88. We made the first round of the playoffs. 89, we made the second. 90, we made the semifinals, lost the state championship in 91. We finally won it in 92. And then we won 11 of the next 22. Or we were in it 11 of the next 22 years. We didn't win them all. But, it's a process. It's a learning process, as you start continually being there. So I'm proud of this team for getting ourselves in this situation again. And now we have something to learn from, and from last year and figure out what did we do. Obviously, it was a weather game, but I think defensively we played really well in that Northern game last year. Offensively, I thought we were terrible. We didn't get the job done on offense. And so we will continue to learn from that. But you got to just keep getting at bats. You got to get into the batter's box to hit a home run. So we're happy to be here. We're going to learn from the past and be ready to play on Saturday.
And then your defense hasn't really forced a turnover since week 1 against Akron. They had one against Toledo, but it was on the Hail Mary play. I was just wondering, because that's something you guys did really well last year, right? You guys turned people over a lot. I think you're top 3 in the conference in turnovers. And what needs to happen on that side of the ball just to be in the position to make those game-changing plays and create short fields for your offense?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is one, you got to tackle the ball. I mean? We have to put our helmet on it. That's the only way. You can't put your helmet near their face anymore. You got to be down. You got to put your helmet right on the ball. And I think we got a couple guys that are coming in for big hits as opposed to trying to put their helmet on the ball. And that's something we've been focusing on last week and this week. And I thought we were better at it last week. We put our helmet on the ball a couple times. And then we gotta read our keys and get to the play. There's been some balls on the ground. There's been some tip balls. And we're getting closer, and they come in waves. They come in streaks, turnovers. There are some teams that get like 1 a game, but normally it's none, 5, none, 4. So the key is that you just continue to play. The most important thing is that offensively and defensively, that we understand that you have to do your job, and all big plays come from that. If you are a receiver trying to make a big play, you'll never make it. If you're a linebacker, if you're a corner, if you're a safety, if you just do your job, the big plays come in packs, in groves. Offensively, we do not necessarily try to score as fast as we're scoring. We're just executing. And I don't know all the time who's going to have the big play, but we are just trying to execute every play, and they're turning into big plays. And defensively is the same way. You do your job, you close the pocket, you get in the quarterback's face. And if the whole D-line does their job, one of them gets a sack. If one of them runs out of a gap because he's trying to get a sack, the quarterback can get out. It happened early on in the Akron game. We were running around blocks, and he got around. First half, he was running around dumping the ball, and we finally, everyone was, collapsing the pocket, and everyone started getting sacks, And so that's the biggest thing we're focusing on is doing your job, and the big plays come. As soon as you try to make one, that's why you really can't preach it. You have to preach tackle the ball. You have to preach eye discipline, and then the big plays come to you, and that's something that I think our offense has done a really good job of. And defensively, we have to continue to focus on getting our job done.
Coach, you have kind of a unique relationship with Mike Neu down at Ball State. You both obviously were great quarterbacks at your alma mater, that you're now coaching. But apparently he coached with you or coached you in the league. Yeah, talk about that just a little bit.
I always tell everybody he has a phenomenal eye for talent. Because he picked me. He picked me up. He was the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, and I was playing arena. He was a young arena coach, and he signed me. So and I went. I don't know. I was in Carolina. I never played a season with them. I was there for the off season, and then they ended up getting a big free agent signing. It was McNair. I think it was Fred McNair, or Steve McNair's brother. There was like one big time arena quarterback that was like free agency. It was like LeBron. Where's he gonna go? For us arena people. And sure enough, they signed with him. So I went in and asked, hey, kid, I wanted to play. I knew I was about to be a coach, and I was playing arena to have fun until I could coach. And I didn't want to be a backup. So I said, hey, can you send me somewhere else where I can play? And he was great. So we've known each other since, God, what year was that? 01, 02? And we had the MAC connection, and we stay in touch. We talk. I mean, him and Lance are the two that I talk to the most, just to check in. Was it a couple summers ago? We took our wives to a Kenny Chesney concert down there in Indiana. He's a great guy. He does a great job with the program. My son goes to school at Ball State, so I always know that if anything goes wrong, I could call Mike, and Mike could get there. Luckily he's doing a great job and doesn't need Mike to come save the day. But he's a great guy. Respect him, and I'm happy for his success this year, and I'm happy that we get to play in this type of game.
Coach, penalties hurt this team again in the loss to Eastern Michigan. Ball State's been a pretty good disciplined team at penalties this year. How do you make sure in such a big game that the emotions stay under control and the penalties stay down?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really like you said, it's discipline, and making sure that we knew going into the last game that from watching the film that there was going to be a ton of opportunities where after the snap, there were going to be extra pushes and shoves, and we did not do a good enough job reacting to that. Now we had some offsides, and those are the things that really hurt you. We knew most of the after the play stuff ended up being offsetting. They called a bunch of offsetting ones, but we can't jump off sides. We can't hold. We can't hurt ourselves. And we did that too much last week, and. We had that early on in the year. We had, I forget what game it was. We had too many penalties. And then we kind of rallied back the last 2 weeks and had too many again this week, especially the self-inflicted ones. We had a false start. We had to delay a game. And those are the things that you can't shoot yourself in the foot when you're playing a good team. There's going to be penalties called. If they're aggressive penalties, I understand. Some of them I don't agree with. Send some of them in, and I get you were right, that shouldn't have been called, but unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about that now, other than just keep responding and bringing up the discipline of our team, and it has to get better. We can't have this be a week where we don't have the utmost focus and discipline when we take the field on Saturday.
Coach, teams are getting creative in finding ways to keep kickoffs away from Eskridge. And with that in mind, has the personnel on the kick return unit changed? And I guess how much emphasis has there been on making sure the guys on that unit, know how to handle the different scenarios?
Well, obviously, we didn't do a good enough job of executing that. We work on all of them. I mean, we kick it deep a couple times during the week of practice. After that, it's sky squib. The hard part, sometimes the hardest part is those front five guys, because that thing's coming at 80 miles an hour, an ob-shaped ball, and you're trying to make sure it doesn't hit you. But our second and third line guys, I thought they did a really good job towards the end of last game of letting the ball go. And if the ball has any kind of momentum coming on it, get out of the way, let number one pick it up behind you. But if the ball's dying, you have to fall on it. And, unfortunately, we picked one up and tried to run with it, which is a bad decision. We've discussed that with them. It's really hard when the ball's actually kicked to you and you're an offensive lineman. Now, he does a great job of blocking Gideon, but he needs to get out of the way and let D. Do you want an offensive lineman carrying it or D. Eskridge? It's up to you. Obviously, we want D with it. And he got better as soon as he made that mistake. I thought he was way better after that. And we practiced the sky kicks where they have to fair catch balls, and we do have some experience with it. We're able to get the ball in his hands a couple times. We kept switching them. We would switch them one way because they were checking it at the line. I don't know if you guys noticed all the stuff they were doing. they did a good job of trying to keep it out of his hands. We got it in his hands a couple times. It's the same stuff we dealt with Darius. Coach Kenny was our specialty, our recruiting, kickoff return coach at the time. So he still has a ton of experience, as do we. Coach Palcic has some experience with it too. So we've been trying to get him trained. It's just unfortunate that Gideon picked that ball up, because that was a big swing point in the game. That even if he just moves the ball, the thing could swing the other way, because every time number one touches it, it could be a swing the other way, you know? So it might be hard to get him touches, but we have to make sure that we understand what we're doing. We have those guys on jug machines during the week, catching balls if they do sky it really high, and we have to fair catch it, which I think Bartol call one did a good job. And so it is fun. It makes for a fun play every time we have a kickoff return, because everyone wants to see, one, what they're going to do, two, how you're going to react to a ball on the ground, which is one of the hardest things to react to, and three, can we get the ball in number one's hands? So it's definitely a chess match on every kickoff return, and we're happy that it is, because we got a guy back there that can do something with it.
And can you give us an update on running back Sean Tyler's injury status?
He's been running. I'm hoping to have him back, to be honest with you. He ran pretty fast yesterday, and hopefully he's gonna be limited in practice this week. We'll see kind of how it develops, but the plan is to have him back right now. I mean, this was kind of the plan the whole way, unless something crazy like he turned the corner last week. He was doubtful. This week, I'd say he's probable. I think the way he's moving along, I think he feels pretty good. He's been doing really a great job in doing his rehab, and hopefully we have him back, and that'll be a big boost.